Zinedine Zidane showcased exceptional brilliance throughout his career. As a player for Real Madrid, he achieved remarkable success, winning numerous accolades. Later, he made a triumphant return to the club as a manager, leading them to an unprecedented 3 consecutive Champions League victories. Zidane's football acumen and influence have firmly established him as one of the game's most influential figures. We invite you to join us as we delve into an in-depth analysis of his tenure as the coach of Real Madrid. To support our channel, kindly consider subscribing. Your contribution would be greatly appreciated. Hailing from Marseille, Zidane began his footballing journey at the tender age of 5. In 1995, he celebrated his first trophy victory as a player, clinching the UEFA Cup with Bordeaux. However, it was during his stints at Juventus and Real Madrid that he amassed the majority of his silverware. Upon joining Juventus in 1996, he triumphed in Serie A, the UEFA Super Cup, and the Intercontinental Cup. Zidane's final accolade as a player materialized in 2003, when he secured the Spanish Super Cup with Real Madrid. A standout moment etched in history was his stunning volleyed goal in the 2002 UEFA Champions League final against Bayer Leverkusen in Glasgow, a truly vintage display. This remarkable strike played a pivotal role in Madrid's conquest of their 9th European title. While we could spend days marveling at Zidane's incredible qualities as a player, today we aim to shift our focus towards his remarkable career as a manager. In November 2010, Real Madrid brought Zidane on board as a special advisor to the first team, a move prompted by Jose Mourinho's request. He then assumed the role of sporting director at the club in July 2011. However, after a span of 2 years, Zidane decided to further refine his managerial expertise by serving as an assistant to Carlo Ancelotti. Finally, in January 2016, Zidane ascended to the position of first-team coach following the departure of Rafael Benitez. This marked the beginning of an immensely successful tenure, during which he secured a total of 9 trophies, including the extraordinary feat of winning 3 consecutive UEFA Champions League titles. After achieving the historic three-peat in 2018, Zidane initially departed the club. However, he made a triumphant return in March 2019, answering the call to revive a struggling Madrid side. Upon his return, Zidane was faced with the challenge of managing a squad that had been weakened by Cristiano Ronaldo's departure. Instead of overseeing a team comprised of established, peak-performing players, he was tasked with navigating a transitional phase and nurturing a younger generation of talent. Despite these circumstances, Zidane still managed to secure an additional league title before leaving once again in May 2021. Perhaps even more significantly, he played a crucial role in the continued development of promising players like Marco Asensio, Federico Valverde, and Vinicius Jr., who were expected to lead the team's new era. Zidane is one of Real Madrid's great icons, and his legacy extends beyond what he's achieved as a coach and player at our club, Real Madrid stated when he resigned again. Upon assuming his first senior managerial role in January 2016, taking over from Rafael Benitez at the Bernabeu, Zidane immediately placed an emphasis on physical fitness. Drawing inspiration from his time at Juventus, he enlisted the services of experienced Italian trainer Antonio "The Whip" Pintus, who drove the players to push even harder during training sessions. Additionally, he prioritized the inclusion of holding midfielder Casemiro in the starting lineup, favoring his presence over the more flamboyant talents of James Rodriguez. While individual moments of brilliance to entertain the fans were valued, they were considered secondary. Zidane believed that the team's utmost focus should be on winning the game, a principle he'd learned from his mentor Marcelo Lippi. Throughout his tenure, different players came and went, but Zidane did not adhere to a specific tactical philosophy. When reporters sought in-depth analysis of his team's tactics, they often received a wry smile in response. We played more or less 4-4-2, but for me, the system, whether we have 3 or 4 in the centre, is not such a significant factor. Zidane characteristically stated after a 3-0 away victory against Atletico Madrid in November 2016. When we play with intensity, focus, and utilise our quality, I'm not worried, even in challenging environments like this. This encapsulates Zidane's fundamental concept as a coach. If his players possess comparable fitness levels and dedication to their opponents, their superior quality will often prevail and lead them to victory. Some may find this approach overly simplistic compared to the highly detailed methodologies employed by his peers like Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp. As a result, Zidane has faced criticism suggesting that he lacks a thorough understanding of modern tactical or strategic approaches. This approach, which may only be effective at the largest clubs, is one that Zidane embraced. He doesn't see it as his role to dictate to household names like Cristiano Ronaldo, Luka Modric, or Sergio Ramos how to play the game. Instead, he created the necessary conditions for them to express themselves and excel on their own terms. This style of player whispering is often associated with Carlo Ancelotti, who coached Zidane during his final 2 years at Juventus. Vicente Del Bosque, who had the most significant impact among Zidane's 5 coaches during his time as a Madrid player, was another proponent of this approach. Now, let's delve into Zidane's playing style during his tenure as manager. A key factor in Real Madrid's success was their consistent team selections and performances. For instance, in both the 2017 and 18 Champions League finals, Zidane fielded an identical starting 11, with the only change being Isco adopting a more central role in 2018. Although the team transitioned from a 4-3-3 formation to a 4-diamond-2 setup, the core personnel remained largely unchanged. Furthermore, Real Madrid posed a well-balanced attacking threat. In the Champions League, the competition that's long defined the club and which they dominated under Zidane, they recorded 16 assists from the left side of their attack, 16 from central positions and 18 from the right. The overlapping runs of their advancing fullbacks Marcelo and Dani Carvajal allowed Ronaldo, Isco, Gareth Bale and Asensio to drift inside from wide positions when playing in a 4-3-3 formation. When the formation shifted to a 4-diamond-2, these wide players took on the responsibility of providing width. Zidane also prioritised playing his best players in their natural positions for as long as possible. Ronaldo, considered one of the world's finest players inside the penalty area during Zidane's tenure, was moved from a left-sided forward role to a more permanent central position alongside Karim Benzema. This positional adjustment proved beneficial for Benzema as well. His intelligent off-the-ball movements, particularly when dropping away from opposing central defenders, created space for Isco to roam freely from his number 10 role and combine with the wide players. This in turn provided Ronaldo with increased room to exert his influence. The collective efforts of the team also led to increased presence in wide areas, showcasing Real Madrid's dominance in the territories valued by their manager at the time. Upon Zidane's return, the emphasis on prioritising wide areas remained intact. With Ronaldo's departure, Benzema assumed a different role within the 4-3-3 formation. While he still occasionally dropped back to link with midfielders, he predominantly positioned himself in a more advanced role compared to when he played alongside Ronaldo. The recruitment of players like Eden Hazard, Rodrigo and Vinicius, who excel in attacking wide areas, further reinforced this approach. They combined effectively with attacking fullbacks Marcelo, Carvajal, Lucas Vazquez and Ferland Mendy. The demands placed on the central midfielders have subtly evolved as well. In most cases, two of Toni Kroos, Casemiro and Luka Modric formed a double pivot, although there were instances where Kroos and Modric operated in front of Casemiro, as seen during their 3 consecutive Champions League victories. The emergence of Valverde and his deployment in those positions provided additional support around Benzema. This tactical adjustment also led to Isco adopting a wider position, similar to the setup before Real Madrid transitioned into a 4-diamond-2 formation. The central midfielders were encouraged to make regular incursions into the penalty area, particularly through the inside channels between Benzema and the players flanking him in the front 3. The more even distribution of goals throughout the squad can be attributed to this increased flexibility, as there was no longer a single focal point like Ronaldo. The offensive contributions of Real's fullbacks were emphasised, but this placed a greater emphasis on maintaining defensive balance. While Kroos, Modric and Casemiro excelled in supplying passes to the forward players, they also demonstrated impressive cohesion in front of the central defenders to nullify counter-attacking attempts when attacks broke down. In their adoption of the 4-diamond-2 formation, Real Madrid displayed additional diamond shapes within their attacking structure. Kroos positioned himself towards the left, while Modric occupied the right, forming the base of these diamonds. The relevant striker led each diamond, supported by an overlapping fullback on one side and Isco on the other. The two midfielders, with the disciplined Casemiro's support, effectively defended against opponents' advances. The presence of 2 advanced fullbacks applying pressure and 2 strikers poised for attacking opportunities also contributed to Real's effectiveness when shifting into a more reserved 4-4-2 formation. However, with their return to the 4-3-3 formation, Real Madrid adjusted their approach to counter-pressing. They maintained their intense and frequent pressing, beginning with a unit of 5 players. The fullbacks played slightly deeper compared to their positions behind a diamond midfield, which led opponents to resort to longer passes. Consequently, Real regained possession in deeper areas rather than near the opponent's goal. By forcing the ball into central areas through their wide forwards, Real Madrid's central midfielders advanced through the inside channels as the second wave of pressure. This differed from their previous setup, where the advanced fullbacks and number 10 formed the second wave. Additionally, by maintaining 4 players in defence, they effectively neutralised opponents' passes, leading to resistance against Real's pressure through hurried clearances and frequent regains by the central defenders chosen by Zidane. Despite his achievements and tactical prowess, Zidane may still be underappreciated. It's important for people to recognise that Zinedine Zidane is a great coach and tactician, and his success cannot be solely attributed to the quality of the players at his disposal. What are your impressions of this remarkable personality? Where do you anticipate seeing him in the future? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you found this content enjoyable, don't forget to subscribe for more.